watch in this family's life that really minister to you, it didn't minister to you, although she's a Baptist or I don't know, Presbyterian or Baptist, but is there anything that ministered to you as a Muslim?
Oh, yes, yes. That was the first family, and I watched them closely, and they watched me closely.
Oh, all right.
We were learning. I told them I do not want to go to church anymore. I told them what happened, and they weren't upset about it. I think they realized that, what the mistake was done.
Yeah.
And they brought the man in to apologize to me, later on.
All right, all right.
But as your first expression, it was something to be desired.
Yeah.
However, what I learned from them and I saw, we watched each other. And I sat with them at the dinner table.
Yes.
And of course, I told them I do not want pork. So if you have pork, I'm not asking you not to eat it yourself. But
not me.
That night tell me so I would not, be near it. I don't want you to touch it. I don't want to, touch it. I eat something else. Just respect that. And they did. They respect that. And I noticed they were very fun family.
Yes.
For each other. They done activities and all that. When I grew up, I played soccer almost religiously. But my father has never seen one of my games. But in this society, it was different. They got involved. I didn't expect my father. Our culture was different. He was working, but here he was different. They treated. They have teenagers.
Yes.
I wasn't used to, this age in between adolescence and adulthood called teenager.
Yes.
So they have quite a different approach to kids. So I watched that, but then I noticed something. I had my prayer done. I had my prayer rug. I had my prayer rock. And the only time I seen them pray, unless they did, unless I didn't see them other than that, but the only time I seen them was when they were at the dinner table.
Yes.
And even then, when they all sit down and the father would ask the son, "Would you pray, please?" He would say to the father,
Buck?
"Yeah." He says, "Oh, I prayed last night, Dad. It's her turn," pointing to his sister. And I remember thinking, if my grandfather,
Yes.
asked me to lead a prayer,
Yes.
I would have a heart attack, thinking I have spiritually arrived. Because as a young Muslim, we weren't considered so spiritual yet to pray in the presence of our elders who, Muslim. But, this was the cultural difference. So I noticed that, and that was not a good thing. When I looked at it, I thought that's Christians' prayer life. But they were faithful going to church. They went to church Wednesday night, Sunday morning.
But you never saw them reading the Bible or praying in their home.
No, they had the Bibles in the house.
Yeah,
but I didn't see them. No, I didn't see them praying. But they watched a lot of the what you call at that time HBO.
Wow.
It was fairly new, I guess, at that time. A lot of HBO, and I was learning all kinds of things from TV. But that was our first experience, and of course, you always remember your first impression. I remember things from first year when I was in the United States more clearly than almost any other time. It's amazing, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
First impression is very important.
It's very vivid. How long you stayed with this family?
I was with them for just about 9 months.
All right.
I finished the school, learn English, finished high school. They sent me back to high school to learn English.
To learn English, yes.
So I got another degree.
If you're going to college, you have to understand English, of course.
So then I took an ACT test, and I received a scholarship to the university in another city in Missouri. And I went there, and that's the second part of my experience.
So this was the highlights of the first home that you stayed in.
This was the first.
Still, it's not impressive to witness to Muslims.
No.
No. So, wow. This is the second experience, the experience of the church, the experience of a home sitting. Now, next.
The next thing was I went to university, and I lived in a dorm for just a short time.
Yes.
But I wasn't impressed with it. There was too much drinking and playing games and young people just doing all kinds of things. Noisy,
yes.
Partying. And I had a goal. I wanted to learn the language.
Yes.
And I wanted to finish this, And so I went ahead and it was very difficult to me to pray 5 times a day. It was so much interruptions in that.
Yes.
So I answered an ad in the paper. Some elderly lady was looking for someone to stay with him at the house for room and board. And I thought that would be a good opportunity for me to live in somebody. And I, as a Muslim, I respected elderly tremendously.
Wow, wow.
And I thought this would be very, very good for me. I
Actually,
can
this is
learn.
a Middle Eastern culture. We have to respect old people, yes.
Oh, yes, we always do.
Yes.
So I went to her house, and she answered the door. Just wonderful lady, all white hair. And I told her, I'm answering this ad. And I remember she said to me, she says, well, I was meaning a female college student. I didn't quite understand the female part. I just a college student, and I went to her house.
You left the female aside.
Yes. So, but she looked at me and she says, come on in, come on in. And she noticed I spoke with broken English.
Yes.
And she said, you know, I think I'm going to give you a try. I think you could use my help. I'm a retired English teacher. And she says, I think you can help me out. My husband died last year. I could use a man around to, you know, help me with things, and you can use me teaching you English.
Yeah, okay.
So I said, thank God.
Good deal.
Yes, good deal. Good deal for me and good deal for her. So that was my first, second family. And she was very moral person. She lived, and she was very
It's better than the other family.
Yes, as a 73 years old, she was very active. Walked 4 miles a day. That was amazing to me.
Wow.
I used to write home in letters, Mom, you won't believe this lady I'm staying with, my landlord. She walks 4 miles a day, and she's 73 years old.
Wow.
So, anyway, but nevertheless, she taught me English very well. And however, one day she asked me, listen, I don't want to intrude, but would you like to go to church with me? And I remember my hair back on my neck stood up a little bit, and I began to get a little memory of that, and I asked her one question. I said, what denomination do you go to? And she says, I'm a Presbyterian. I thought, whew, I don't know what Presbyterian is, but it's not Southern Baptist. But now I want to make sure that our Southern Baptist friends out there know that I love them.
Yeah.
And I have many good friends who've been there for me through years.
Yes.
For Southern Baptist now. But that was just one experience. And just please don't get offended. I'm just telling you my story.
Yes.
Yes. But I have friends from many different denominations, and so as long as they're in Christ, you know, we're in love with one another. So, anyway, I went to the church with her. It was a huge church, and it was not like the first one. They were more reserved.
All right, I'm going to stop here and let David come in.
Oh, yeah, sure.
And see if David, are you with us? David.
Yes.
Are you following what he's saying?
Yes.
Are you following what when he visited the first house and his first exposure to the church?
Yeah.
What's your comments? As Christians. Yes.
Yeah, I'll just comment that this is a lot of people's experience with Christianity, whether it's the first experience or not. And even our children grow up in an environment where Christ is not really the center of the household. The TV might be the center of the household. But I do find it interesting that when he went to church and they told him he's going to hell, I certainly don't approve of walking up to to a Muslim and saying, "Hey, you're going to hell." Or
anybody in the street you meet him.
I do find it interesting that I would expect Muslims to agree with that, because that is what the Quran says. In other words, if a Muslim knows the Quran, Surah 19 verse 71 says that everyone's going to enter into hell, and then Allah is going to take the good people out. He's going to take the good Muslims out of hell after they've gone there. And even Muhammad says in the very next verse that he doesn't know what Allah is going to do to him. And I always found it interesting, because I would expect Muslims to say, of course I'm going to hell. We're all going to hell. What's your point? But that's not the reaction. It's what are you saying to me? You kafir. It's kind of interesting.
Yes.
Yes.
Comment on that?
The reason is it was put in a context, in a way, and when he said you're going to hell, I understood. For some reason, I realized he's talking about eternally, forever.
Okay, yeah. So I agree. If I were a Muslim, even if I agreed with the Quran, and I see a Christian come up to me and tell me I'm going somewhere, I'm gonna have a problem with that Christian.
To tell you the truth, growing up Muslim, and I admit it now, I consider us, if it was a food chain, of religion, I would consider Islam on top of that chain.